session 12. And like I said, we're just gonna get straight into the nitty gritty. So why doesn't someone tell me what happened last session? Anybody?
Zoom silence. Okay.
You just like bullet point it for me, Gwen.
Just bullet point it for you.
Yeah.
All right. What did we do last session?
That's a good question.
Let me go back and skim over my recap. They get longer every week. So what did we do last session? There we were. We were in the common area of the fort, and then what pops in? It's a snowy owl, and it's a snowy owl from Kenna. It tells us, hey, don't follow me. I'm gonna go looking for the lichens. Maybe Gwen or Mordecai should go feed everybody, and Edelweiss and Nikolai should not do that. And so we did. Meanwhile, Edelweiss and Nikolai stayed at the fort. They had a little bit of a chat discussing Edelweiss's motives and why they're here. Nikolai went down to visit Kalina, got a little bit more information from Viridian on Viridian from her. Mordecai and Gwen found an elk and brought it back. It was dead. And then, let's see, meanwhile, Nikolai also found out that there are good berries growing downstairs, so that's a moot excursion, but we don't talk about that. All the while, Kenna is looking for the lichens. She cuts off of the path that she was following, goes straight into the mountains, tries to anticipate where they are going, and finds an area where they've bedded down and left some of her stuff behind. She moves from there to another vantage point, takes herself a short rest, does a wild shape, tries to call out in Wolf-O to them, and gets a response. She's looking over a valley, and they're probably on the other end, so she goes running off through it to try to find them. Partway through, she gets intercepted by some strange-looking wolves who, after looking her over, lead her back to their den. She gets about to the entrance before she drops the guys and explains her intentions there, and is allowed inside. At which point, she is introduced to the keeper of the Lichen clan, Keeper Tala, who she makes a deal with to get some of her personal belongings back. Those being Edelweiss's violin, and I don't remember what the other one was.
Nothing else.
There were two. Words. In return, she offers up her wineskin full of her clan's indigenous wine, which does not survive the night, and asks to save the evening for dinner. She is allowed to stay. Festivities take off in the light of the golden moon. Again, her wineskin does not survive the night, but it is returned to her. And then, as the moon hits its highest, the energy in the cavern sort of soars. There's a furry rave, and then everybody goes running out for a hunt. And Kenna tags along in a wild shape as the form of a bear. At the end of the night, Keeper Tala approaches her again to give her a little bit of sage advice when it comes to controlling herself and controlling her elemental nature. At which point, they split, and Kenna presumably makes her way back to camp. Is that enough bullet points?
That was a lot of bullet points. I feel like we lost the bullet points somewhere along the way, but that's fine.
Yep. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. It's informative.
All off the dome.
Yeah. Anything else somebody wants to sprinkle in? Any poignant details that we may have glossed over?
The in-character conversations was lit, y'all, this week.
I agree with that.
Just to gloss over it very quick, Lars went out with Gwen to basically let off some steam, but Lars also wanted to find a winter's bouquet and give it to Edelweiss, mainly because he reminisced back to his father and keeping a unity in his unit, because he was a famed leader of a unit during wartime, and he just wanted to improve relations, which was done successfully. A bit of backstory was unveiled. We might need to get people in on either posting these in-character conversations as a added extra to the viewers, unless they're not obviously attached to the
no, I was considering that, because you're not wrong. There are some given the quality you guys have been putting out into it, I feel like people are missing out. So you're right. we have to figure out a way to get those across to people so they aren't missing out on little things.
Give the people what they want.
We
Also,
could just transcribe it into one long thing and have it scroll at the beginning.
True.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, so perfect. We can become like the opening. It can be like the opening of Star Wars every session.
there was a Krista and Nikolai conversation, the
Yes, there is.
nightly
Yes.
Krista Nikolai report, where Krista was like, "Hey, I got attacked. Don't worry about it. I'm just tired. I
Yeah.
took care of it." And Nikolai is like, "You hired a werewolf. By the way, she's great. I promise you, she's good. She's good. Don't worry about it. I know I get us in trouble, but don't worry."
Don't worry about it.
And
Don't worry
bring us
about
tea.
it.
Bring us tea. Please bring us tea.
Please.
Not that we have anything for the tea.
It wasn't bring her. It wasn't bring them tea. It was make sure there's tea prepared for whenever you guys decide to catch up to Krista.
Close enough.
And I
Like
think
you.
there's a... Go on.
Oh, that there were also conversations. I think Al admitted. Did you talk about the conversations with Kalina and the stuff we have glimpsed of?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of lore bombs with Kalina that was revealed last time with
So much stuff.
Solgaris and
He's been
Valen
around.
House.
Yes.
We
Been
we
sealed
urge
for
the
like over
viewers to
1,000
watch
years.
it back. If you've missed it, you gotta watch last episode back.
Run it
So
back.
much
Okay, that's what a recap's for, my dude.
Yeah, but if we did like that's why I was saying bullet points, because if you do every little detail from the previous session, we're spending the first 30 minutes just talking about what happened in the last game, especially in lore heavy ones like that.
8,000 characters.
Okay, so only other point that was not brought up, which may be important to other people, but I think falls to kind of a back burner, is there's a demigod running around, so that's fun.
Yep.
You did him.
Yeah,
Look,
go on
I
to
found
the
out.
demigod.
Secondary
I told
lore,
you,
secondary
Cal.
lore bomb.
But
I'm going-
who knows if we will encounter him ever again? Maybe,
Mm.
maybe not. Who knows? But now we know that but his soul, Calabash, is a demigod, and that
I peed on his couch.
Big trouble.
and the person that they're reincarnated as can choose to fight against their nature or accept it, and those who fight against his nature don't become as powerful as they could be. It's the
Correct.
only-
Don't anger him either.
And the current incarnation is fighting against it.
Yes. Just push over. Anyways.
And I think the group has agreed that we're just gonna skip to the point where Kenna comes back.
Did no one read that I said I was probably gonna do a couple
Yeah.
things? Jeez.
No, we did. There's just it'll probably be rather quick.
Well, yes. So we're going to start the session off because we have Kenna in transit, and I wanted to clarify because it was talked about a little bit earlier, and I came to the realization that people were inaccurate about the assumption is that the honeymoon lasts for, including today, the day we're currently set in, the day that we're contemplating skipping ahead. That is not the last day. The final night is the following night. It ends on the last full moon. So if you reference the calendar, that is the 17th.
Yes.
I believe it's the
We've gone
17th.
through 3 nights. There are 4 nights total, I believe.
Yeah, it's on the so the 17th is the last night. So after today, when we hit those things that we need to do, and then we will jump ahead when Kenna comes back and everyone else has been had a chance to rest and stuff. It is on the 17th that things have will be the final night of the honeymoon festival. Okay, well,
Oh shit.
yeah.
Oops. I
Mhm.
accidentally clicked the face cam, but you only saw the ceiling.
Okay, that's important.
One last thing before we start. What time did we leave off?
Well, so the timelines, there are 2 running timelines currently. You have Kenna's, who has more or less moved through and progressed through the majority of the 16th, and you guys, who had just gotten up to roughly mid-afternoon, and then that is where we sort of left off, where I gave you guys the homework assignment the week previous to figure out what you were doing with all of that time that Kenna's already filled, spending with the lichens.
Is this the day after we slept and we rolled that D100? Or is this because we rolled the D100, but we're
I feel like I gathered.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I feel like I gathered rolls, D100 rolls in advance for the upcoming night, so I could prepare things ahead of time. Which was to say there was nothing.
There was something.
Yeah, there was nothing there.
Yeah.
So yes, I already have your rolls for the for the transition between the 16th to the 17th.
Yeah, I thought we were at that time. I was just making sure because of that D100 thing.
Yeah. I was a smart cookie, and I gathered them the week before just to make sure if I had to prepare anything, I could.
Big brain.
Mini wrinkle.
Okay, so with that out of the way, you guys. So in fact, yeah, I didn't move the calendar time for your timeline versus Kenna's timeline. So it is currently about 1 p.m. On the 16th. Where you guys will spend some time, the events that happen in character conversations will sort of run through over the course of the day. At the very least, some of them, like Lars's interactions, he set the timeline in the conversations, in his narrative. So those will be happening in a couple of hours when the sun is beginning to set. So we more or less just need to figure out when people are doing what.
Want to do it when Lars and Gwen leave.
Okay. So that'll be in a couple of hours. Again, you guys, if you have something you want to do, you should know what it is. Now is the time to mention it. If there isn't, I'm going to skip by you.
So on the 15th,
16th.
Able to druid. Well, yesterday, Edelweiss was able to druidcraft to find out what the weather would be like today.
Right.
Has it lessened up? Become clear?
Yes.
I thought the weather got better tomorrow. See, I told you my head was scrambled.
Yeah. Okay. And did we take a short, or could we have taken a short rest in that? In the hours in between.
As long as you weren't doing anything during the short rest, that would have been considered strenuous. Yes.
Okay, good. If you don't mind, Edelweiss, I'm going to augury to see if I could test the orb.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
So
looks at everything on them. I was like, right, this is all I have now.
If I'm gonna say this now, if Nikolai goes out to test the orb or to futz with the orb, then Gwen's gonna be there for backup.
Yeah. I figured everyone's kind of gotten that general idea by now, given the last time it went badly. Okay, Nikolai, you focus in, spending some side points to cast Augury, and you have a glimpse into the future with your psionic powers. For my sake, because I like having a certain amount of clarity, just roll D100. Like, because the spell effect is going to work, I just want to know exactly how clear of a vision you're going to have. Okay. You sit down and meditate, your powers activating and sort of rippling. Even with your eyes closed, everything around you sort of wobbles and shifts and blurs to the point that everything seems to begin moving very rapidly. And then everything kind of blurs together as you see multiple images of your companions all around you. And you're kind of watching as multiple timelines, as different decisions unfold rapidly, all in front of you, all at once, making it very incredibly difficult to decipher. Until such a point that you slow down and it focuses in, and as it does, all the after images sort of pop and fade away, focusing in on a single moment in time where it's you standing outside in the freshly fallen snow just outside the fort with a bag in your hand. And there is a moment where you see the procedure that you've gotten used to, which is the bag floats away and you upend it, the orb falling out. And as the orb falls out, you watch as the snow, the several feet of snow, flattens almost to a fine line, and you are dragged down with it. And it is in such a way that your vision sort of snaps to where you are, and you see slowly as blood begins to leak from your eyes and your nose, as it looks like this intense gravitational force is crushing you. And your vision snaps back. You get woe from your spell.
Well then. I'm checking that right now. Other than that, nothing else for me.
Okay. Doggo agrees.
Win seal of approval.
Okay. If no one else has any other little bullet points, we'll skip ahead a couple of hours to where the sun is slowly beginning to set. Gwen and Lars will head out into the surrounding forest to do a slight patrol and a little bit of Lars's well-intentioned morale building, as he put it. However, as we know what is going on with them, we're going to go back to the fort where a single figure remains in that form of Edelweiss. So,
Alright,
Edelweiss, what would you like to do?
I was able to get the thing in my Book of Shadows, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I did not write it for you this week.
Yeah, I can tell you're busy. But as long as you
Busy.
give like a general description,
Mhm.
like I was asking, then that's fine. I will close my book hanger and kind of in it to make sure I have the paint. Maybe there's probably like a ribbon. Probably, yeah, that would make sense. And I'm going to walk up to Nikolai. You have the power to peer into the future a bit, correct?
Yes, I do. It's because it is unruly and a bit. It can be unclear, but yes, I do.
Thought about it. I thought about it for a bit, and I'd like to go down, but I'd like to be sure nothing bad will happen. I found something that might interest Kalina.
Oh, really? What is it?
Nothing of deep importance, but I was able to find a poem about Rodian.
Oh, really?
Indeed. Quite old. I wonder if it would interest her to hear it.
Probably.
Also, sorry, question for Dyer. What language is it in?
The language is in Sylvan, which is pretty unusual, actually.
Sure, it sure is. Interestingly, it's in Sylvan, but as long as it's in here, I'll be able to read it.
Well, that's rather interesting. You want to go tell it to her now?
Yes, if you can verify that nothing bad would happen if we went down there. Still do not feel free.
I went down there. I went down there not too long ago. Maybe a while ago. Time is weird right now. And nothing bad happened to me. It will be fine.
Are you quite sure? I guess you will join me.
Yes, I will join you. I can ensure you that nothing will happen. You don't have to gaze into the future to see that.
Lead the way then.
and he shall lead them to Kalina.
Okay. The two of you will march down the winding steps to the lower level beneath Fort Stenmere, where, as you descend, the humid air becomes much more obvious. The sweet scent of flowers and vegetation becomes much more pronounced, unusual in this region, something you're not very used to. And by the time you reach the landing at the bottom and you gaze through the door, you see the rich, lush vegetation that continues to thrive with Kalina's freeing. She is actually within eyeshot. At the very least, I'm assuming you've been bringing a light source with you, given there's no natural light source down here at all. So I figured a torch down the stairs. Even within the radius of the torchlight, you can see Kalina's figure outlined pretty nearby, where she's tending to a new thicket of bushes that have these bright blue and orange flowers growing from them.
Nikolai would have called out to her in Dwarvish that he was coming down with Edelweiss. Just to make sure that she knew that it was them and not someone else. And when we go down the stairs and we see that Nikolai will go, those flowers, they're quite beautiful. What are they?
These flowers, they are referred to, the language in which they are named does not translate perfectly. In the common language, they would be closer to birds of paradise. Yes, they are modeled after the real life birds of paradise, by the way.
Ooh.
Cool.
For those of you Southerners.
Is it a flower Edelweiss would recognize?
Nice.
That is a very good question. Yes, it is. They are a flower that would thrive in the temperate or in the not as temperate regions from where you hail from.
I don't believe we've met formally.
No, we have not.
Does Edelweiss need a translator through Nikolai?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Do you speak Dwarven?
Yes, I do
Okay.
recall it's in my sheet. Can you check?
I can check.
I actually didn't write my languages, but I'm pretty sure Dwarven was in there.
Real quick.
Not to the Nikolai.
Yes, it is in fact in there.
Some of those languages will leave eventually, but whatever. My apologies. The nature of your condition just reminds me of something rather unpleasant. It is a little bit unnerving even to be down here, as nice as it is. And you're Kalina, correct?
That is correct. And you would be Edelweiss. It is difficult not to hear the mutterings of your companions when they are down here.
Yes. Well, I've only have a somewhat understanding of your condition. You've been down here a while and far from... never mind. I came here because I was able to obtain a poem written long ago about Viridian. I was wondering if it would be of interest for me to read it. However, it is in Sylvan, which is not a very common language. If that's the name that was used before, of course.
It is not a language that I speak. If you could attempt to translate it, then perhaps I might recognize it.
I could try.
Here's
Hopefully some of its nuance if I translated it, but shall I just recite it first and then tell you?
If your interest lies in sharing this with me, then yes, I think I would appreciate that. Where are you?
Otherwise, I'll open the page and begin reciting it.
There.
And surprisingly, compared to their usual, I guess, awkward or mode of talking, it's reading something down that's already written down. They come off quite clearer. That's not the word. Stronger. Not the word either. Still very soft, but a different quality to it.
Well, if you check your DMs, I have in fact sent you something to recite.
Oh.
No pressure.
I was hoping you would send this earlier because I wanted to practice it.
We're doing it
Alright.
live.
I'll give it a shot. I've never liked poems. I am orchids, fruit trees. I can bear more than you think. I am a riverstone, and I choose a ring made of jade to remind me.
Good job. I'm sure there'd be some enthusiastic finger snapping if it carried well through mics. Kalina takes a moment listening. Her eyes kind of flutter closed as she sort of thinks and listens and takes it in. You can tell what she's going through is much more obvious than just someone listening to a poem. It seems to be like it's taken her somewhere. And then after a moment, her eyes will open back up. That is from the poet Kabith. I'm pleased to see that some of his works have survived.
Would be a shame if they hadn't, but I thought I was able to obtain it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Longshot, has Nikolai heard of that name before?
You guys and your history checks. Go for it. I'd like to see you try.
Look. One of these won't
Nope.
work.
Nope.
Yep.
What was that? I was not on.
A 16.
It's a 16.
So
Would
that's
be good if it wasn't super obscure.
Yeah. You guys are digging for information that offhanded most characters won't know. So short of hitting a number I don't even think some of you can even achieve right now, you're not going to get much. But I encourage you to keep trying. You never know what a 27 gets you, you know?
Great.
That was rather beautiful, actually.
Do they translate it before, or was she able to recall that language, if she had knowledge of it?
Well, she admitted to not knowing Sylvan.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if she was one of the languages she forgot because she said she didn't remember some. Not that Edelweiss would know, but
She hasn't mentioned anything. But given her recovery, there's a decent chance she's beginning to recall some of the languages she spoke previously. So much so that, there are things that it's become quite obvious that she's remembering pieces, because the fact that she recognized your name when your friends were speaking to you when you initially came down here meant she was understanding bits and pieces of the common they were speaking, enough to know that that was your name. Well, that certainly was a treat. I appreciate the opportunity to hear words such as those once more. In Viridian, when the land was bountiful and gave freely to those living there, it left the citizens of the kingdom an opportunity to pursue those things which they took joy from. So poets and writers, dancers and singers, sculptors, and all forms of art flourished. And it pleases me to know that some of these works have persisted, even in a time where it sounds like Viridian is no more.
so it's bring me back a little of home as well. Perhaps not to that glorious extent, but there are many who are able to. I know many who are able to create such wondrous works. I care for my home dearly, and I'm at least a little. I understand. To an extent, of course. I have my condolences of the matter.
Hmm.
If I can find any more in this, then perhaps I'll come back down and show you some more if that pleases you.
As I continue to repeat, I've seen so few people. I would always appreciate more company.
You can't survive outside, is that what I've heard?
Yes, especially with the current season and with my current strength. The weather would wither my form.
It always just nods.
Well, as that's finishing up, Nikolai will back up and continue what he was doing before.
Probably return later. This is still rather not a comfortable environment, as much as I do enjoy the weather. So excuse me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for your company. And she'll just sort of silently turn back to tending to the bushes. And up you go.
I go.
Was there anything Edelweiss wanted to do with his time prior to the return of the two party mates?
No.
Okay.
Just keep reading as they were doing, as they established in the thing.
Yep. In which case, for the four of you, is there anything with the remainder of the night that is of particular import or requires dice rolling that you would like to participate in?
Lars's research into making his own bullets.
Yes. Intelligence check, please.
Money.
I have
Please.
a Lars progress bar in my notebook.
For my reaction, you probably know it's not good. Just getting my intelligence up. Int. That's an 11.
Could be worse.
I know.
It's progress.
It's progress.
It is progress.
Oh, I guess in that vein, draconic, learning draconic for Nikolai. He has the time.
Yep. Same thing, my boy. I have notes for you on that somewhere.
Ooh, a 22.
That's pretty good. Did I have you write down a?
Yes, I have it. I have it on my character sheet. Character resources is currently 0 out of 100.
Okay. You can mark down another tally.
I have a thing.
Yes.
Seeing Modahain work on his bullets, does he have like them out, or is he just working over notes?
He's writing down theory more than he is actually crafting right now.
Okay. All right.
Since he can't actually do any of the crafting presently due to lack of equipment. That's what he's trying to figure out.
Gwen would probably just assume. Well, yeah, Gwen would probably just sort of like look over his shoulder a little bit, just watch him work.
Okay.
And then she would ask, "You mind if I see one of those? I'm not quite too familiar with how your weapon works. I'd be interested to see what exactly it is that comes out of it."
Lars takes a long moment to consider. A very long moment to consider.
Is Ryan here?
Right?
Ryan?
Lars?
Ryan?
I think. Did he do a die? I think he did a die.
He's typing.
Oh, is he? Oh.
The in-game character in the game.
Waiting?
Chat.
Deliberating?
We can save it for later.
Oh, he's typing again.
We may have to. His
Internet has made it.
He's having internet issues.
Okay.
F.
Whoops.
That's okay. We can progress and
What?
regress as necessary.
It's not too important. But that's all I had.
Okay. In which case, the night will progress as per usual. Individuals taking care of meals and getting comfortable, feeding horses, the usual upkeep around the camp. You all will settle in relatively early to have an earlier morning the following day. This is all while Kenna is currently in the midst of, as Gwen so politely put it in the recap, a furry rave.
Speaking of furry rave.
Eventually, the new day dawning.
Can
Well, not really
interrupt?
dawning yet. Go for it, sure. The
Because
dawning will
there's
stop.
one thing I want to do since no one said settled on shift, but I said I want to do the 4th shift. Okay.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
That's-
watch shifts. That's an important thing to maybe do.
Okay, we'll go back to that then.
Well, I guess we have shifts 1, 2, 3, and 4. Edelweiss has got 4th.
Nikolai will take second.
Third.
And that means Lars is first. Gonna wait on Lars real fast. Boop-a-doop-a-doop. Cause I need a perception check. Granted, if you can hear us, Lars, you can just preempt that perception check and have it ready for whenever you come back to voice. That would be swell.
Alright, everyone's just come back to normal over the miss.
We've gone to the end of the night.
Sorry about that. For some reason, this laptop is not receiving my internet very well, so I've had to switch over to phone. Right, we've gone over to night.
Yep. The watch shift was rapidly volunteered. It put you at the first shift.
Okay. Lars will be able to do that.
Yeah, so perception check.
Okay.
As the night progresses, the weather eases, and the night is illuminated by the golden moonlight from the current phenomenon, the lunar phenomenon.
That's a 13.
Okay. The night is quiet. There's nary a sound of scampering animals. The only thing that sort of greets you from time to time is the occasional whistle of wind moving between trees. But your watch is uneventful.
That is fine.
Okay.
I won't do too much. Apart from obviously researching, Lars would just keep a nice watch out. And when his time goes, he will go to wake up the person who is second in the queue.
Nikolai.
Hey. Yep. Goes up to the battlements that I for some reason forgot, and there's a really crappy perception check with a 13.
All right.
And that's him.
Okay. Well, funnily enough, as the night gets later, the vision for those of you who don't have low light vision, it is a bit better than normal, as the moon takes a much more prominent role, and the clouds keep clearing as the night progresses, lending to better weather, and ideally better weather the following day. But even with your keen senses, Nikolai, there is nothing during your 2 hours of watch that alerts you to anything that would seem unusual.
Cool. Go wake up. Go when.
Okay.
Write some notes and go back to sleep.
Take a seat. Settle in to work on my bear thing.
Bear tooth.
And bear tooth. And perception.
So a perception check to see what's going on while you're watching, and a dexterity check to see how well your carving's going.
I forgot that was a thing and it scared me. Just straight perception or advantage? Okay.
Both. Yeah, you roll it with advantage.
Yay.
Just report both numbers, because the first one's going to be your sight. The second one includes your smell and hearing.
Okay. So I have a 13 and an 11 plus for perception. I think it's just 3. Yeah. So a 16 and a 14.
Okay.
And then
Dex check.
Dex check. Yikes. 6.
Okay. Again, it's not like you're mangling the tooth. You get stuck in execution. Or, you're probably focusing in on like a single little spot that you're not quite happy with, and every single time you're about to commit to it, you're like, no. And you keep kind of working away at it. The night itself is still calm. The weather continues to improve as the hours roll by. However, about 2/3 of the way through your shift, Gwen, you watch as the night's sky suddenly turns very bright. And you see, soaring through the sky, a golden meteorite. And it looks close enough for you to almost reach out and grab. You see it sort of sail by, heading northwesternly. And then it sort of vanishes just out of sight as it sort of passes into the range of the mountain. And because you're awake, you do feel the slightest of tremors moments later. Like it impacted.
Interesting. I take a minute to. I don't know if this would help. Background beat. I'm just gonna put it in chat. I'm gonna take a minute to sort of like write down. I didn't mean to roll that. The description of like do a sketch of the comment and then sort of try to triangulate with a little bit of math. God help her. Where it might have landed. And I don't know if this would help or not, but it might.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you know what, just make me a, let's do a nature check. This is intelligence-based. You're trying to triangulate.
Pythagoras hasn't been born yet that I know of, so,
The Gwyn theory.
surprising. Better than I could do personally. That's a 13.
Okay.
10 plus 3.
Yeah. Well, so you've been hiking out that ways quite a bit, with Kenna. So you know a decent amount of that distance. Especially you went hiking out that way with Kenna. You did a little bit of hunting in that direction up, further north. A lot of the undead gnolls also came from that direction. So kind of referencing all the general landmarks and area that you've experienced, and then to the best of your ability, figuring out the distance and the rate of travel, and then the time it impacted, you get a pretty rough estimate of where it is, which is, you think if you travel probably about 6 to 7 miles north, you'll definitely at least start finding signs of where it landed.
Alright. Just for fun. And I just go back to working on my tooth.
Okay. Okay, Gwen, your shift will come to a close, other than the meteorite, uneventfully.
Alright. I go down, wake up at a voice, and go back to sleep.
Okay. Edelweiss.
I do want to do a thing. I will roll perception first, though.
Okay. And then tell me your thing.
That's a natural one.
Alright. The person who can see the best doesn't see a whole heck of a lot.
Hey, because I'm doing my thing right now. I'm not
But yeah, I mean, yeah, and really, if there's nothing to see, then you got nothing to worry about. That's fine. So what are you doing?
I'm gonna cop my D100, but first I want to speak to my patron.
Sure.
What are my windows on this? Just take a deep breath and, just, I'm not sure if I'd be whispering it, probably, in Infernal, because, Papa, I looked into that Kalina who was residing beneath the fortress, and I do not know how to say this otherwise than, would it be wrong to ask you to bring her in? She She's no child, of course, but she has no connection to this world anymore, it seems like. And she is a stray. Our home would suit her much better, and she could probably even move around much more. I'm not quite sure about the nature of her condition quite yet, but it's not my place to decide, but the way she described Viridian sounded much like home, didn't it? Just like it, really, in its basic. As long as my companion's here, nothing could really happen, and we'd also have to ask what she would want. But perhaps. I don't know. I don't know if such an entity would bring you to bring. However, it stopped you for. I don't know. She makes home sound so similar to ours, and I suppose I just feel a bit for her. And that's when I roll my D100, right?
Except we've rolled them for this night already.
No, this is a long rest. Once per long rest, right?
Yeah, I had you guys roll these in advance of last session.
Isn't this is the night? This is after long rest, right?
Well, you're in the middle of the long rest.
I had my 6 hours of sleep because I went last, so I assumed that my long rest already happened. That's why I said I wanted to go last.
Okay, never mind. I see. Okay, I see what you're trying to do.
I guess I didn't understand the
No.
mechanic for that. So.
It's an interesting nuance. You're not okay. No. I see what you're doing. It's clever actually.
I also wanted to do it. No one was around.
Yeah, you know what? Sure, I'll allow it. So best of luck. Roll the D100.
Rolling D100. Oh shoot. 97.
Good catch. All right. Standing up on the battlements, the night quiet and uneventful. In comparison to the last time, there is no physical manifestation for you to see. But you do feel the familiar and welcoming warmth of a sweet breeze that kind of blows through the area. Very unnatural and unusual given the wintry conditions you're in. It very much reminds you of home. You feel a ghostly, almost phantom-like pressure of what feels like someone embracing you. And it is comforting, and it is warm, and it is welcoming, and you know that it is something you do not need to be afraid of. And in your ears, almost resonating in your mind itself, you hear the voice of your papa. Dear sweet little flower, I did not expect for you to find someone in need so quickly. If you believe truly that they need help, then I will reach out to them. When you and your group have moved on from this place, I will speak to the being beneath the fort. And if their desire is to come with me, to live with us, then they will have a new home. Because those that are lost deserve to be found. And there's a little bit of a pause. And I am so proud of you for doing this. You are already proving beyond my expectations.
So much to improve on, but thank you.
And in time you will. And you will continue to grow. And with each new day you will blossom just a little bit more beautiful. As expected of my little flower. I am always watching. I am always near. And should you find any more lost children, ask. And we will try to find them a home. And in the same breath, the warm breeze washes through the open area, shaking the leaves of the nearby trees. And that comforting presence leaves with it. I'm just writing notes.
Was immense luck.
That's how these work. Not a ham, a home. It's an O, not an A.
Oh.
That would mean something drastically different in my notes to give Kalina a ham.
Steamed hams.
Okay.
Precedent for this, by the way. Not gonna allow this anymore, or I'm not gonna do this again like that in a while, but what's your judgment?
Who knows?
Confusion.
You never know what the dice wants you to do until you roll them.
Oh no, I meant because you were like, oh, you can't roll a D100 now, and I'm like, I thought I did the
No.
long rest.
No, you I didn't think about how that worked, but no, you're right. Because it's at the end of the long rest where nothing happened to interrupt it. It's that's how it works.
Okay.
You're right.
Cool.
It was literally like you were just taking the second step over the line into it, and I'm like, wait, let me consider that. And no, it's accurate. You were in the clear. Otherwise, I wouldn't have let it happen. Okay. The following morning finally comes around. It is now the 17th and the last day of the full golden moon. In the morning, routines begin as usual. Breakfast is made, whether it be elk stew or just a handful of good berries to pass between everybody. Anything of particular note worth doing in the early morning. Kenna will be arriving in a couple of hours as the like an hour or two after sunrise. So you guys have a couple of hours in between then, if again, pointed business to attend to.
Weather check for orbing. How is the weather?
The weather is clear skies. It is unusually sunny and just as warm as it can be warm.
Mm.
It's
Augury.
yeah, it's a lovely, toasty, 2 degrees Celsius.
Nice.
All right, so you're gonna hit us with another augury. All right. Well,
Yep.
you know the dance. Let's see what you can see.
See, another D100.
Yes, sir. I just like know what kind of clarity you have. All right, let's put it this way. You settle in for the ritual to gaze into the future. Your mind reaches out. You begin to see multiple overlapping timelines, shadowy images of your friends making hundreds of different decisions, creating hundreds of different timelines and realities, eventually honing in on one. But this time, the peering into the future is like a roller coaster that's gone off its tracks. It is rough and bumpy. You have a gathering, slight pounding in the back of your head as you're doing this. Like there's a struggle to gain the vision. But despite the difficulty in reaching it, you get to a point where all you do is feel something that it's almost like something is crushing your skull to the point of immense pain, to the point that you feel like the bones in your body, still healing, by the way, if you recall, all of the aches and fractures and potential breaks all begin to hurt again. And then you're sort of whiplashed back to reality. While not being able to see anything in particular, you get woe.
Yep. Oh. Okay. Yep, that's it for him.
Okay. Anybody else? Important dealings?
Would now be a good time to wreck on that
Yes.
slip I got with assuming Lars is here, Ryan?
Yep.
Hey,
Hey!
You can go poke Lars.
Okay, I go poke Lars. Last night, retroactively. She just asked if she could see one of the bullets from your rifle. She wasn't familiar with how exactly the weapon looked, and she was curious.
Oh, Lars will. He's in a particularly good mood today. He'll go over to his backpack, where he keeps a satchel of bullet and shot, and he'll bring out both, and he'll like put one in your hand.
Is it a bullet, or is it like a little pellet of shot?
It's basically because it's flintlock style. It's just a pellet. There's no casing or anything like that.
Right. She just looks it over. With your blessing, she'll sit down and like make a quick sketch of it, some rough measurements, and then just hand it back to him. Thanks.
No problem. He'll put it back and yeah, just go back to what he was doing, just being very happy about it.
And that's all I had.
Okay. Modahain. Anything on the chopping block today?
I mean, more studying, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you've got to... if you guys don't decide to do anything with together with your time until Kenan returns, yeah, you've got a couple of hours of just waiting.
No, Lars hasn't got the food supply is kind of good. The horses should have their feed of grass in the courtyard, which Lars knows nothing about. But everything seems to be in order. There's no need for Lars to do what he was originally going to do. He's kind of concerned that Kenna isn't back yet, but he kind of thinks everything's in order, so he will just go back to researching.
Okay. In which case, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, it just ran right out of my head. I apologize. Continue.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, in which case, we're gonna take the first break of the session. We're gonna return at 20 past, and then we'll come back, and Kenna will be arriving from her late night escapades. And as previously mentioned, thank you. We're going to switch to the appropriate channel because boy, are we bad at that. Bum. Be right back.
That is kind of a mistake.
This is the channel for the main game,
We've been
not
by.
the general.
We are the main game.
Oopsie.
I am so apologetic. The internet just literally just went like a stone, and everyone was like, and then when I switched to mobile data hotspot, it all went and it went back to normal, and I'm like, oh Christ, what did I miss?
Yeah. Everyone's confused, but I saw you typing, so I alerted everyone that you were typing.
Thank you.
So, I got a 97. It bonked across this way that was right over here, and I saw that I was at 90, and I kind of turned it around like, oh gosh, that's a 90.
Yeah. What's it like to actually get a D100 roll that's good? I haven't gotten above an 80.
Sorry.
I rolled
I feel like
like
that was too
like-
convenient after that discussion. He
like
was just like,
12?
you can't do that. I'm like, are you sure? I thought if I worked like this.
that
And then I
that
get
was
D100.
very convenient.
Maybe, just maybe, you should
Fired.
leave the orb alone.
It's not even about the fucking orb. It's just any D100 roll, any of them.
You'll turn around eventually.
Okay.
The dice giveth, and the dice take. Well, the dice giveth.
Let's hope the dice doesn't hiccup away lives, please. It will, but it has to. It's the only way. Dang it. So that's my dad.
Yeah, that.
I hope you like my dad.
Papa Weiss made a return.
Yes. But not in the flesh. Or what I think is the flesh. This time.
Using the magics.
Be right back as well.
I am so. I don't know why. I know this corner of my house is kind of poor for internet, but I get decent internet on my PC when I have it here. But this laptop just seems to just go, you know what? No, you're not going to have good internet here. And probably Mo's playing something online as well, so. At least playing D&D gives me plenty of time to comb my beard. Thick, luscious beard. It's actually not that much, to be honest. So it's just me and you chat again.
You wish.
I'm back too.
I've had good conversations with the Twitch chat in the past.
Oh, good. Keep them talking.
I always try to.
It's one of the milestones I need to hit. Granted, I need more viewers in order to hit that one milestone.
I mean, it's kind of a one-sided relationship though, because they can put stuff in Twitch chat, but I won't see it until I rewatch the episode.
Hold on. Give me another minute. Doggo wants to go outside, and I didn't realize.
Okay.
very, we can tell a lot of woofing was going on beforehand.
No, that was because my mother left, and he was not very happy about that.
No.
But now he wants to go outside, so. Okay.
Just a quick.
Au revoir. I'll just eat my muffin in peace.
I mean, I would have my webcam on, but like I said, being on the normal Wi-Fi internet on this laptop, it just sucks for some reason, so I had to go to data. I could put it on. I've got a nice beard going, and all I'm doing is just combing it with a beard comb.
Nice. Again, I appreciate people who can grow proper facial hair.
It's not because I'm doing it in spite of you.
No, I didn't think it was.
No. It's
Just
like-
know,
it's like this-
I appreciate your rugged handsomeness.
Oh, thank you. I mean, compared to my dad, who's like, he went bald at like 22 or 23, I always have a good head of hair just to spite him. Gotta be better than my dad at something. Because it's not snooker, I'll tell you that for free. You found that funny, did you? I need to remember that Lars needs to buy a bell from somewhere, because that was the only thing that was nicked from Lars, was a bell and 10 foot of string. I've got 40 foot of
Yeah.
string and no bells. Where can I go get a tiny bell? Where's the bell merchant in Bellwind?
Well, if you head to a general goods store, you'll probably be able to purchase a bell.
Yeah.
Like,
What's that, Belmart or something?
Ugh. Granted, I'm sure there absolutely is a merchant store called Belmart somewhere in Bellwind. Like, the name is there. It's not even that far of a stretch. Let's be real honest with ourselves.
No, I can totally see it.
Granted, I already have one of the first chain businesses in my setting thanks to one of my other players. So,
unsurprising.
one of which is in Harbor, by the way.
Hey,
He started a chain of taverns called the Pepper Pumpkin.
pepper pump, that's nice.
Yeah. He puts black pepper on his pumpkin pies. The party gives him crap for it all the time. They're like, but why would you use pepper? Why wouldn't you put sugar in your pie? And he's like, no, we're not. You make a normal pie and then you put pepper on it for the contrast. And they're like, no, that doesn't sound like what you do. But then I also blew up one of his establishments already, so yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, they're level.
have to do something.
They're now level 14. Like they're getting into things where you don't get to have nice stuff without consequences.
No black pepper pie for you.
The black pepper is gunpowder.
That's probably the reason why it blew up. Someone forgot to read the ingredients.
Yes,
No.
yes, it was an explosive pie.
No,
Hey, did we all talk about the furball clown who was throwing pies?
Yes.
Oh god.
Hey, it's an excellent comic. And that's just good character development. Let's be real with ourselves for a moment.
Yeah.
Almost not back. I want to send her something.
Yes,
Let me send this something.
I'm very disappointed in Elle.
I have something very cute to send her that I saw on Lord.com. It looks like a felt sheep. A sheep made out of felt that is knitting, and the knitting is like yarn. And it's really cute. It's a little handcraft. It's a little craft.
Am I late? I think I'm late.
You are.
Owl, look at the thing I sent you.
I'm sorry.
How dare you?
I left my bedroom and stepped into a pile of cat poop. What do you want?
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Back.
I know those woes. Okay, is everyone back?
Yes, I believe so.
Maybe.
Yes.
Okay. I'm about to say, I can confirm most people because I can see their faces. You're like, ah, yes, they're in front of their computer. It's mostly for the people that I can't be like, I see your face, therefore I know you're here.
Soon.
Okay. In which case...
False.
In which case, we start back up. So I don't leave that on the stream the entire time.
Hargy with this big grin, knowing it's his time. Mm-hmm.
It's Kenneth's time now. Speaking of that, we return. The morning of the 17th, going by pretty uneventfully, nothing much going on. Breakfast is had. People quietly read to themselves, work on small side projects, mostly keeping themselves busy waiting for what is hopefully the inevitable return of their druid companion. Kenna, anything you want to sprinkle into your travels as you are heading back to the fort?
I just want to double check and make sure. Did I see the meteor last night?
That's a great question. It's one of those, you were up at that time. It would have been very hard to miss. I'm going to go with yes, you saw it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Other people did because they were asleep, but you were just
Then
trucking along, and the weather was clear.
Yeah, I'm gonna sprinkle in that instead of returning to the fortress the way that I came, I'm going to take a different route back that takes me northward to where the meteor his direction was. I'm gonna go that direction and then head to the fort instead of going down into the forest valley and then heading upward. So I'm gonna travel north in the mountain range before heading.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yep. Instead of east and then north, I'm gonna go north and then east.
Okay. It's going to slow down your travel by a bit. Traveling through the mountains is nowhere near as hospitable as traveling through the forest.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, roughly doubling your travel time. You'll continue on. Just gonna, because the weather is nice, so you're not dealing with much in the way of lack of visibility. It's sunny, so recent patches of ice have begun to melt. You're used to this. You've lived in an area much like this for most of your life. It takes you, like I said, after you leave, when the sun begins to rise from the pack of lichens, this takes you the better part of close to 6 hours to continue traveling north in the mountains. There are no signs of the meteorite, nor would you have felt its impact from where you were compared to Gwen.
Mm-hmm.
However, after a certain distance, you do gather the feeling that you are going to overtake the fort versus wherever the direction of the meteorite landed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Still knowing that you're going to continue heading northward to see what you can see?
She wouldn't overpass where she feels that the fort is. She would get to about that area and then get to the highest point she can, and just kind of peer out in to see if she can see down trees, debris, if there's a fire, any kind of thing like that.
Yep. Make a perception check. Surprisingly not at disadvantage, because despite your lack of sleep for nearly 3 days straight, you're doing great. Keep it up, champ.
12. 3? Because I don't have proficiency in that.
So yeah, it's a 15.
15, yeah.
So you get up onto this relatively high cliff.
Ooh, sorry. We leveled. It's a +4. That's a 16.
Ooh, nice. All right. like I said, so you make it up to this relatively high cliff. From this position, and in this relatively clear day, you can see overlooking a bit of this carved out valley where, looking straight down below on a sheer cliff, which it looks like it was purposely carved out this way, straight down below is the geometric structure of the fort. And you can clearly see the cleared out area surrounding it, and then the various rocky terrain heading towards the logging town further on. Even